Baker and Combs man. This is the people coming from the church services in the Memorial Auditorium.
That's where you held all the services.
We held them all there. And
it's like the children's choir.
They're on their way into,
there's Bob LaFollette.
Rush Elliott with him.
Rush Elliott.
There's Don Clippinger with a paper in his hand, and he's the chairman of the building committee, a very fine person. And Fred McKay with the white hair was one of the great supports in the building committee. Rush Elliott just finished putting some order on.
And that's Mr. McKay.
Mr. McKay is putting on now.
Do you recognize any of those folks?
I used to know a lot of them in there, but I don't seem to see them just now. A cornerstone was laid with a lot of material.
That's Don Clippinger.
Yeah, Don Clippinger putting some order on. That was one of the architects of Potter, Tyler, Martin, and Roth. I think that was Mr. Roth. This is the northwest corner of the church with the cornerstone. Now there is the spire, steeple of the church going up. It was decided whatever we did, we should have a good, nice steeple. Where the concrete block on the front of the church is all stucco now. These are some of the ramps and walks in the extreme attic of the church. The pillars and the steeple going up on the front.
There it looks like the steeple is almost completed.
Almost up. Where they're putting up the cross on the top of the steeple. We tried to take a telephoto lens picture of this raising of the cross. There they're working on the front of the church, just above the pillars.
Looks like we're coming up to the...
I think that is 147 feet up to the cross.
It's one of the highest buildings in Athens, isn't it?
Yes. That's part of the balcony. It's rather dark in there, some of the areas with all the structure supports.
This church was patterned after another church, wasn't it?
In North Carolina, yeah. That's
Chapel Hill, was it?
Yeah, Chapel Hill was a church. We went down to see, the building committee went down to see that church. Spent the night there and came home the next day. And our church is, in some respects, particularly the balconies, are patterned after that church.
I understand there's a story on this cross.
Yes, this cross was put up there. That's a telephoto lens shot. It was put up. And when the final inspection of the church was made, it determined that the cross wasn't quite straight. It leaned back a little bit. And we asked Baker and Combs, the contractor, to repair that. But they said, well, how about us just since you need the money, knocking off some money and just leaving it that way, since you can't see when you look at it that there's anything wrong with the cross.
So the cross still leans?
Just a little bit. It's not enough anybody can tell.
I certainly never could detect it. Can you spot any of those people?
I used to be able to spot so many of those people. I'll see somebody, surely I know is there.
Was this the first Sunday?
This is the first meeting in the sanctuary of the church.
Was the church full that day?
Yes, it was full. It had a little overfull, in fact.
Now, was John Versteeg still?
Rush Elliott and his wife.
Rush Elliott.
Yes.
Mrs. Elliott.
This is John Versteeg preaching the first sermon in the church. The background is a red dossal behind the pulpit.
Who are these?
This is Versteeg and Mrs. Kuntz, and Dr. Versteeg and Dr. Kuntz.
Dr. Kuntz followed
he was
Dr.
the
Versteeg.
next minister after.
And there is the finished church.
That is the finished church.
And that is a genuine tribute to John Dowler, to Don Clippinger, and to a host of others.
I would put Don ahead of John.